Fans of Coronation Street have insisted they don't believe that Becky Swain's departure from Weatherfield will be a lasting one, as they reacted to a farewell message shared by the actress. Viewers of the ITV soap recently saw Becky leave the cobbles after trying to win back her former partner, Lisa Swain, despite Lisa having moved on with Carla Connor. Becky had dramatically re-entered Lisa's life in September, causing immediate upheaval. Although Becky's family had been led to think she had died while on duty, her return came just days after Lisa and Carla became engaged, and on the same day as Lisa and Becky's daughter Betsy celebrated her 18th birthday. Becky soon managed to drive a wedge between the couple, with emotional scenes showing Carla ending her relationship with Lisa. Things then took a dark turn when Becky kidnapped Carla, who was preparing to head to Spain for a short break. Carla was held captive in a flat, the location of which she had unknowingly been given during a hospital visit to Lisa's boss, D.I. Costello. Thankfully, those vital details were passed on to Kit, and after Carla failed to arrive at her Spanish hotel weeks later, the detective constable eventually traced her to a shipping container where Becky had taken her. Kit and Carla then chased after Becky, who was traveling towards Hull with Lisa and Betsy as they planned to sail to Rotterdam. However, events spiraled when the trio became caught up in a terrifying multi-vehicle crash. Carla and Kit were forced to help rescue both Betsy and Lisa. In a twist that pleased viewers, Lisa, despite being injured, slipped back into detective mode and arrested Becky at the scene. In episodes aired last week, Lisa was later told that Becky had received a 12-year prison sentence, with her name notably absent from the court proceedings. D.I. Thompson explained, "She got 12 years. And as far as I know, your name wasn't mentioned, which I suppose is the good news. The downside is that you're being placed on restricted duties while there's an internal investigation. We both know it could have been far worse. From what I hear, you're a good officer. Keep your head down, and before long, you'll be able to put this behind you." Despite Lisa assuring Betsy that Becky was gone for good, many Coronation Street fans remain unconvinced. Their doubts resurfaced after they reshared a post from Amy Cudden in which the actress appeared to bid farewell to her controversial character. Coronation Street villain Theo Silverton is being tipped as having claimed his first on-screen kill, but fans are now convinced his reign of terror is far from over, following Billy Mayhew's horrifying death. Theo ranks among the most despicable characters the soap has ever introduced, and considering Weatherfield has previously been home to the likes of Pat Phelan, Richard Hillman, and Jeff Metcalf, that is no small achievement. Although he initially appeared to be a damaged, sympathetic figure scarred by the trauma of conversion therapy and years spent hiding his true self, it soon became clear that Theo is a calculating and relentless abuser. His campaign of cruelty against boyfriend Todd Grimshaw has only escalated. What began as manipulation and emotional coercion soon spiraled into full-scale control, from humiliation and gaslighting to strict regulation of Todd's eating and bouts of shocking physical violence. Theo has systematically dismantled Todd's confidence while deliberately isolating him from anyone who might offer support. One of the few people to clock Theo's behavior was Billy Mayhew. Growing increasingly suspicious, Billy witnessed further warning signs at the disastrous wedding of Debbie Webster and Ronnie Bailey. Later, he found Todd half naked in the bathroom, his body marked with bruises and injuries. Todd showed Billy a heavily doctored video Theo had created using footage from their home security cameras, falsely presenting Todd as the abuser. However, Billy uncovered the original recordings and desperately tried to make Todd see the truth, that this relationship was toxic and Theo's actions were not expressions of love. Billy finally got through to him. Todd asked Billy to take him home, resolved at last to escape his tormentor. But Theo was unwilling to let go and followed them onto the bus. The moment Theo realized Billy fully understood the reality of his abuse, Billy's fate was sealed. Following the catastrophic Corriedale pileup, Billy was left trapped inside the overturned minibus as flames rapidly spread. Freeing himself from his seatbelt, he briefly believed rescue was at hand when Theo approached. That hope was cruelly extinguished when Theo strapped him back in and fled, leaving Billy to perish in the explosion. Having crossed the line from abuser to murderer, there's little chance of Theo turning back. In the world of soaps, a character's first kill is rarely their last. Now that Theo has discovered just how easily he can remove anyone who stands in his way, the question is, who could be next? George Shuttleworth, Todd's former stepfather during Eileen's relationship with him, has remained a strong parental presence in Todd's life even after Eileen's departure, something Theo clearly resents. George, along with his partner Christina Boyd, has repeatedly voiced concerns about Theo's behavior, although neither has uncovered the full extent of his brutality. There's no doubt George would do anything to protect Todd. If he were to uncover the truth about what's happening behind closed doors in that flat, he would stop at nothing to get Todd away from his abuser. But as Billy's fate has shown, attempting to rescue Todd can be deadly. Could The Undertaker be the next name added to Theo's list? Theo's hatred for Billy began immediately, simply because Billy was Todd's ex. Now, the last remaining link to that former family life is Summer Spellman. Summer angered Theo over Christmas with a playful gift for Todd, provoking him to scheme in retaliation. Since Billy's death, Theo has weaponized the tragedy to further psychologically torture Todd. Already struggling with guilt, ongoing abuse, and his sense of responsibility towards Summer, who has now moved in with them, Todd is being pushed closer to breaking point as Theo tightens his grip. If Summer continues to dominate Todd's attention, there's little doubt Theo would be willing to remove her from the equation, especially if she ever uncovered the truth about what he did to the man she loved, Billy. We were never really given the opportunity to fully get to know Danielle. Discovering that her husband and the father of her children was leaving her for another man understandably left her furious and heartbroken. Her reaction was entirely natural under the circumstances. That raises a troubling question. Was Danielle also a victim of Theo's abuse? Theo's former boyfriend Owen, whom Theo must have been seeing while still with Danielle, was unquestionably subjected to his cruelty. If Danielle was similarly mistreated, she has yet to reveal it publicly. However, her ongoing disputes with Theo over their children could place her directly in harm's way. If those clashes continue, especially now that Theo has shown he is capable of killing, could she realize far too late who her husband really was? Gary Windass also warrants concern. For a time, he and Theo were friends and even went into business together. Although Gary can be abrasive, he has a firm sense of right and wrong. When Theo fell apart following the return of former acquaintance and conversion therapy practitioner Noah, Gary stepped in to support him. In defense of Theo, Gary later viciously attacked Noah. Despite subsequent business problems, Gary has remained on friendly terms with Theo and stands as the only ally he has outside Todd's close circle. But does that proximity put Gary dangerously close to uncovering Theo's true nature? And if he were to learn the full extent of Todd's suffering, would Gary's moral instincts compel him to confront Theo, a move that, as we now know, could be deadly? Domestic abuse cases all too often end in tragedy. In the UK alone, 108 domestic homicides were recorded in the year ending March 2024, with 66 victims killed by a current or former partner. Todd's body bears visible bruises, cuts, and scratches, highlighting that the violence he has endured goes far beyond what viewers have seen on screen. With Theo determined to keep his abuse hidden, the question remains, if Todd finally found the strength to speak out, would Theo silence him permanently? As bleak as such an ending would be, it would mirror the devastating real-life reality of abusive relationships escalating to fatal conclusions. Coronation Street airs on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 p.m. on ITV1 and is available to stream on ITVX and YouTube.